Yo, what's up guys? I spent a few hours now playing the Battlefield 2042 beta, and I wanted to go over with you guys my best settings for the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. In this video we're going to look at a combination of settings I've picked up from gameplay myself and watching videos from the Tactical Brit and Broken Machine. If by some crazy chance you haven't come across their videos by now, which you probably have, I've linked them in the description. So before we get into the specific Xbox Elite Series 2 controller settings, I thought it might be worth just going over the general settings of the game, things that I found helpful, and basically my personal preference. So, global control settings. Invert all vertical look is off. This is personal preference, but for me, something I have off. Camera shake amount, you want to have this set to 0. Crossplay, you want to have this on, although in the beta, crossplay is locked. Communication, you kind of make your own mind up about this. If you want to chat to people, we'll leave that on. You can switch here between squad chat and party chat. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the network settings, but if you want the graph on, show the performance. If you're having lag or issues, keep that on and you'll have a little bit better insight into what's going on. Most of you probably know what field of view is after the contentious topic that was the lack of field of view in Warzone. So most of you are probably going to know what field of view is after the contentious topic that was lack of field of view on console in Warzone. I'm having this set to 100. This does make targets a little bit small, but for me the lack of peripheral vision and awareness really hurts me in game. The Tactical Brit recommends a setting of 85 and Broken Machine recommends a setting of 73, so maybe find a middle ground. ADS field of view. This is a little bit of extra magnification when you are zoomed in with ADS. I've personally got this off, although if you feel like you need a little bit more clarity when you are zoomed in, you can turn this on. So the next section is really, again, personal preference. I have my brightness at default, my motion blur at 0, and the rest of the effects turned off. This does make the gameplay a lot clearer and crisper, but you do lose some of that cinematic wow factor that comes with this new Battlefield experience. HUD, you obviously want to have this on. If you are a content creator, turning this off is a great opportunity to get a good thumbnail, but I would recommend having this on majority of the time. Camera shake amount is 0. Colorblind, I've got it off. I have heard that this setting is also a good setting. Again, the rest is personal preference. You can turn these on. I've left all of these on and kept my kill log as just limited to the squad. The crosshair settings, there's a lot of flexibility here, all down to personal preference. I've left mine at default. Minimap, again, completely default settings. HUD icon, I've got these at 100% opacity, which means they're fully blocked out on the screen. So sound in the Battlefield beta is a little bit wishy-washy, is a bit echoey. I have tried a few of the different headphone mixes, but I've settled on just standard headphones. There are some cool options, but I think there's a lot of work to be done, so I'm not going to go into the audio options in too much detail. Voice chat, again, pretty self-explanatory. You can change the keybinds, you can do what you got to do, but really I've just left these at default. So for accessibility, we've got your standard accessible options. I'd have a play with those as preference suits. So we get into the controller schemes. As for controller settings, I have stuck with the default layout. A lot of videos do recommend switching to alternative, but for me, default keeps me consistent with other games, and it's just my personal preference. We're going to get into the Elite 2 controller mappings very shortly. As for on-foot controls, I've set my stick aim sensitivity to 55. I'm not going to go over the rest of these in detail, as these are just a clone from the Tactical Brits video, so do check that out if you want to know more. I'm going to skip over global and vehicle settings. So controller tuning, again, not going to go into this. Check out the Tactical Brits video. Some great stuff there. I've tried out these settings and they are spot on. So if you do have the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, this portion of the video is for you. What I'm going to recommend is you set up a new default. So as you can see, I've got my top one, which is my Warzone controls. I'm going to swap to default 2 and let's get into the configuration. So we're going to add a new profile. We're going to call this Battlefield. For me, I'm actually only using 3 back paddles. Personally, I can't get a good enough grip on the controller using all 4, and I feel like it really affects my aim. Your mileage may vary, so please do what you feel is best. So here what we're going to do is actually keep majority of the buttons exactly the same, but we're going to work on mapping some of the D-pad functionality to the back triggers to improve the performance of these utilities. I am going to keep the back left-hand side top paddle set to Y. For me, I find this really useful for switching weapons quickly, and I'm going to stick with that in this configuration. So I'm going to be mapping the top back right paddle to up. on the D-pad. This is going to allow me to throw grenades much quicker, much more effectively. The back right bottom paddle, we're going to be assigning this to right on the D-pad. This is going to allow us to use our speciality items or our specialist items much more effectively, much quicker, without taking our thumbs off the joysticks. My second preference for this is to have this assigned to B and X. This allows you to jump and slide, crouch, all the rest of it much more effectively. But I have found this rather useful, as jumping and sliding isn't as effective in Battlefield as it is in a game like Warzone. What I've also done is update the left and right stick sensitivity curve. So I've set this to smooth, but if you check out Tactical Brit's video, he goes into a lot of detail on the curves that you need for the most effective joysticks in Battlefield. Give all these settings a try, let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully catch you on a battlefield. Peace. So just a bit of a footnote to this video, I have played a little bit more with these settings, and the Tactical Brit is obviously a bit more of a demon than I am, so I've reduced my aim sensitivity down to 40 from 55. This I feel a little bit more manageable. I might up this in the future as I get used to it. For now, this is what I'm sticking with. I've also revised my opinion on the button layout. I am now rolling with alternative. This combined with the back paddle assignments allows you to slide and crouch much more effectively.